Picture this. You're standing in line, waiting patiently by yourself to ride what was once the world's tallest and fastest roller coaster, only to suddenly wake up in the ICU with a severe brain injury. In theory, something like this seems almost as absurd as the sky falling. However, just like you, Rachel didn't see it coming and sadly fell victim to a tragic accident that cost her way more than she could ever have bargained for. August 15th, 2021. 44-year-old Rachel Hawes got hit by a free-falling metal bracket that dislodged from the train car, leaving her with a tragic, fatal injury. But what exactly happened? How could a piece of a roller coaster fall off mid-ride? And what was the cause behind it? Was there foul play involved? Or was this simply the result of negligence on the part of the park? This is the story of the infamous accident that took place on the tallest roller coaster in the world and changed the course of Rachel's life forever. For those who know Cedar Point, Ohio, hearing the name alone would conjure images of amazing rides, family-friendly events, live shows, and good food. Cedar Point has been a source of happiness for millions of people ever since it first opened its doors in 1870. Today, the amusement park boasts a total of 70 incredible rides, including heart-pounding roller coasters like the Vengeance and Millennium Force. Most importantly, it has become famous because of its Top Thrill Dragster roller coaster. The Top Thrill Dragster is the tallest and fastest roller coaster in the world, made by Intamin and designed by Werner Stengel. It opened in 2003 and was also the first full-circuit roller coaster to exceed 400 feet in height. Its records were only surpassed by King de Ka at Six Flags Great Adventure in 2005. Still, standing at a height of 420 feet and moving at a maximum speed of 120 miles per hour, it was easy to see why it was an absolute gravity-defying monster of a roller coaster. Riders were launched in the blink of an eye before sprinting straight up at a 90-degree incline. The entire experience only lasted 17 seconds, but for some thrill seekers, those were the single most remarkable 17 seconds of their lives. Since the day it first opened, the Top Thrill Dragster has irrevocably changed many people's lives. Given the ride's popularity, it wasn't surprising that Rachel Hawes, an actor and mother of two from Swartz Creek, Michigan, who was 44 at the time, had traveled more than 281 miles to Ohio to experience the ride's spine-tingling thrill for herself. She went with her family and couldn't wait to get on the ride when they arrived. However, little did she know she would never even get the chance to sit in its train car. The 15th of August, 2021 was a hot Sunday like any other. Rachel was standing in line, watching as the roller coaster climbed to its highest point and began its descent toward the station below, like it was programmed to do. But what happened next was far beyond anyone's expectations. As she stood in line, waiting patiently for her turn, a piece of metal from one of the trains suddenly broke off and fell straight down toward where she stood. Given the speed and height of the ride, Rachel didn't even have time to react or move out of the way before the metal bracket flew and hit her in the back of the head. The force of the impact was so severe that she crumpled to the ground immediately, clutching her bleeding head and wailing out in excruciating pain and anguish. Her father, Robert Edmonds, was standing next to her and saw the whole thing. Like Rachel, he couldn't react fast enough when he saw something hurling from the sky at such an insane speed. All he saw was a black square suddenly hitting his daughter. But where it came from or what it was, he didn't know. But where did it come from? Another witness, 27-year-old John McDermott, who was queuing for the ride with his girlfriend, saw the projectile moving through the air. According to him, the metal bracket was as big as the palm of his hand. He saw Rachel fall and heard the object bounce off the concrete. David Vallow, a registered nurse who was also on the line that day, heard Rachel fall and saw the chaos that ensued afterwards. Obviously, from everyone else's point of view, an innocent woman was standing and going about her business one second, and the next she was on the ground, bleeding and screaming. Understandably, they were terrified. In their haste to get out, many people started shouting and jumping the fence. But instead of running away like the rest, David took charge of the situation and hurried over to Rachel's side to try to help her. He and a few other customers removed their shirts and tried to use them to stop Rachel from bleeding out before the paramedics arrived. The park's emergency medical services arrived shortly, and Rachel screamed in agony as they tried to keep her injuries contained. The pain of being struck right on the head by such a heavy object was immense, and it was almost a miracle that she stayed alive through the entire ordeal. She was rushed to a nearby hospital and ended up in the ICU in critical condition with a brain injury. Fortunately, she survived the ordeal but ended up coming out of it with unimaginable physical and mental trauma. She has not spoken publicly about the accident, leading many to believe she died, while her family has confirmed time and time again that she is alive. Despite the rumors, one thing was certain. The talented actor and beloved mother Rachel Hawes, who came to the park that day to have a good time, left with her life completely turned upside down. But the question now is, how was this even possible? In the aftermath of the event, an investigation was carried out by the Ohio Department of Agriculture. State law says that roller coasters have to be checked at least twice a year by at least 2 inspectors. The last time the Dragster was checked, 4 months before the accident, it was found to be safe to run. However, the Department of Agriculture meticulously conducted post-accident inspections of the ride. They went through maintenance records and witness reports and interviewed ride staff to get to the bottom of this tragedy. Through their efforts, it was found that the object that struck Rachel Hawes was a solid steel metal bracket that measured about 3 inches long and 2 inches wide. The L-shaped bracket was attached to the back of the roller coaster car. Its job was to hover over the tracks and let the roller coaster's operating system know when the train had passed a certain part of the tracks. On that day, during the ride's 420-foot drop, the bracket dislodged along with half the bolts that held it in place. State investigators also spent about 5 months investigating the cause of the accident. They found loose bolts, signs of wear, deformation, and impact marks on train cars and track sections over the spot where a metal plate broke from the ride and fell. David Mirren, chief of the Amusement Ride Safety Division of the Ohio Department of Agriculture, commented that the prior inspection of the ride didn't miss anything. But because the ride was popular and people used it a lot, it broke down faster and caused a problem between the May inspection and the accident. Another assessment was due in September, and additionally, the park performed daily checks on the ride. Cedar Park was utterly unaware that the ride was unsafe on the day of the accident, as they followed up on all ride checks. After the incident, the ride was shut down for the rest of the 2021 season. On Tuesday, the 1st of September 2022, park officials announced the second tallest roller coaster would be permanently closed. They didn't say if the gruesome accident influenced their decision to permanently close the coaster, which had operated for 19 years and drawn 18 million riders. At the start of 2023, Top Thrill will be gone, and its replacement is not yet known, although there are plans for a new roller coaster to be at the park by the summer of 2023. Since the park was investigated and no negligence or foul play was discovered, the ODA did not recommend any administrative action against Cedar Point, and the family of Rachel Hawes has not sued for the incident. Negligence and corporate greed are usually at the forefront of incidents like this. However, sometimes accidents happen, and the thrill of the ride isn't worth your life. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you enjoyed this video, check out this next one. Thanks for watching,